All right, let's bring you to this happening now. The ANC Women's League is embarking on a march to the union buildings where they'll hand over a memorandum of demands to President Cyril Ramaphosa. The march is part of the 16 Days of Activism for No Violence Against Women and Children program, and the theme is United for Justice, ending GBV and Femicide in our lifetime. Thousands of women from various organizations and alliance partners across the country are expected to join the march. SABC News reporter Patricia joins us now live at the march. Patricia, just talk to us about where firstly you are, and has this march been widely supported?
We are in the heart of the capital city, Burgers Park to be exact. And since early this morning, we've been seeing the women from the ANC Women's League coming in their numbers. Buses are still driving in to drop in the participants. The march is expected to start just after 10 o'clock this morning, where, of course, you understand that they're uniting to march to the union buildings where a memorandum is expected to be delivered to the doors or the steps of the presidency. This as the scourge of gender-based violence and femicide continue to plague South Africa. The alarming statistics that continue to pour out of the violence that is, of course, meted against women, but more concerning children who continue to be violated, in particular sexually violated. And the women here from the ANC Women's League are saying that they've decided to have this march, but it's not just limited to ANC members. They want to rally the whole of society, people around the capital city, to come and join in this march, despite whichever political party you are affiliated to. They want the women, even the men, to unite and join them today. I'm now joined by the ANC Women's League SG, and that is Nothula Ncaba. Thank you so much. We see the numbers are swelling. Women are trickling in, but also men. Talk to us about the main objective, why it's necessary to lobby the women of South Africa, the women of the ANC Women's League, to be part of this action today.
Thank you very much. This happened in 1956 when women of South Africa across the country, they realized a need based on the challenges that they were faced with at the time. And they've worked together, united in ensuring that they liberate themselves, where they will be given the right to be able to move to any corner of the country without being required to produce any form of documentation, whether in a form of a DOM pass. So we have said as Women's League, today it is now high time to repeat what happened in 1956 in ensuring that we unite for justice, ending the GBV in our lifetime. We know that the politics of 1956 were different from that we are faced with today, but we knew it for a fact that what is common about what happened at the time is ensuring that there are no gender lines that are being brought to the march. Everyone is allowed, male or female, everyone is allowed across all the formation political parties and also the women formation. Everyone, you can see there's a black and white t-shirt somewhere there. They are invited. There's a group called Community Parliament from different areas of Gauteng. They are coming, their provinces, Limpopo and North and Northwest. KZN has arrived also. That's why we call it a national march. It is a diverse in its approach because we realized that the gender-based violence and femicide, it knows no boundaries. It knows no position that you hold in a working environment. It knows no color. Therefore, we felt that all of us, let's unite and fight for what affects every woman in South Africa. We don't stand here to represent only women that belongs to the ANC, nor that the ANC Women's League, but all women of this country, because their problem and their plight, actually, it is very important, and we understand it fully, of emancipating and also empower them so that they become better and be able to be on their own and be independent in their lifetime.
Marches are a South African reality, but they don't often give the results that we're hoping for. And the ANC Women's League is not the first group to march against gender-based violence and femicide, hoping to make a change. What makes you believe that marching here today might make a difference? Because it seems like things are not changing much.
We fully agree, and it is for that reason that we said, because the state president, President Cyril, said after the outbreak of the COVID-19, the gender-based violence, it's the second pandemic. We're comfortable that he seems to be clear and understand the plight of women of this country. He is alive to the realities and the challenges that we are faced with. That's why he will always, whenever he's given a time to speak, mention that the men must zip up, because he's aware of what we are faced with. And we believe strongly that even beyond issues of abuse, but also issues of gender parity when it comes to deployment and also the employment both in the public and the private sector, he prioritized all those areas that are of concern for us. We understand that many matches took place, but we have said today it should be that of everyone than an individual party nor an individual NGO goes alone. Under the Progressive Women's Movement of South Africa, which we have partnered with, there are so many affiliates that include also the NGOs, and those NGOs are also expected to join us. The Amachichi group across the country, they are also coming to form part of us as a show of force that indeed the government must understand that it is not only one independent organization that feels the pressure that we are faced with in terms of the challenges, but it is all the women of this country. There are those that will come as walk-in, not with the buses, and they are welcome, and also our male counterparts, we have invited them.
To those who believe or who might think that the ANC Women's League is failing the women of South Africa in terms of addressing or coming up with solutions that impact the lives of women and children. GBV is just one aspect of some of the struggles that women face. But to those who are saying that over the 30 years of democracy, you have not done enough, or you have not really risen to the challenge or led with the same energy as the women of 1956. How would you respond to those who are saying that, but they have lost confidence in the ANC Women's League?
It will be very careless of us as Women's League to stand here and create an impression that the gender-based violence, it is a challenge that can be resolved by Women's League alone. It is a societal matter, and it requires every individual within the country to take full responsibility. Even those that are in a working environment, those that are within the justice cluster, those that are within government and public sector, it is all our duty to ensure that we deal with the monster that is facing us. And for an individual to want to blame and shift this as a failure to the Women's League alone, it is a mistake. Hence, we appreciate this opportunity to make everyone aware that this is a social ill that is affecting us, and government, with the resources that they have, that we don't have as the political parties, they must take full responsibility and account for each and every action, because we have also aligned ourselves to the UN resolution that talks about the silence of guns. In South Africa, everyone has a gun. I don't want to say all of us, and they can shoot and they can parade with those guns. We see the improvement recently of them being arrested. There are issues of extortion, there are issues of the protection fee, and in the main, the face that gets to be affected is women. We talk about the illegal miners that have occupied the Stilfontein as we speak, and we are told that underneath there are also women that are being subjected to be the sex slaves and the sex object. It is our duty to stand for them, and we can't do it in isolation. We call upon every individual in South Africa to put their hands together and fight against the GBV. If the government of this country did this and fight successfully against the outbreak of the 2019 COVID, what stops them to do the same? If everything was put on standstill and government is very convinced by under the leadership of Cyril that indeed this is a second pandemic. We have won the first battle. Why are we not putting everything on standstill and make sure that South Africa focuses on the GBV? We talk about genocide and we support them in solidarity in so many countries. Genocide is happening, is alive in South Africa, and it should be whose responsibility? All we are doing as the leadership of the Women's League and leader in the society with a specific interest of women and the young girls, we stand here and we are saying no one else will lead this battle besides us or outside us. We are taking the responsibility to lead a struggle that can be reduced to us alone as Women's League. And we can't be punished if things are not happening. We can't be blamed. This thing is above any individual and it can be treated in isolation. Government and everyone else and the private sector and the NGOs for that matter, they can't always find comfort to go and contest against things that the government is doing to save our country, like the illegal miners. They must also stand up and fight against the GBV. We expect them to be in numbers because we know that they can do it also through the court of laws. There is a Sex Offences Act that is about to be taken for public participation. We are going to go there, advocate and influence that process in numbers. There are issues of consent where women are being raped, and when they go to court of law, the manner in which they are being questioned, it's as if they are raped by choice. How would you then do anything if you are a woman and you can't defend yourself against a person who is gun-pointing you and forcing himself to you and penetrate without your consent? And when you go to court, because many of them, they are unable to go to court and open cases, we encourage them as Women's League. And when they go to court and open these cases, they are then subjected and being disrespected, if I put it that way, because why would you then be given an impression that by being subjected to that and you still open a case and in a court of law you are made to be so vulnerable that you have agreed because you happen to be raped at the end of the day, whereas you have tried but there was no other way to defend yourself. Hence we are saying even the administration of justice, those officials must be trained so that they find a better way of dealing with the issues of GBV. We are saying in police station it must be a conducive and a friendly environment where social workers that are trained to deal with issues of GBV and sexual abuse, and even those that are not abused sexually but they are being harassed and physically assaulted by their partners, by their husbands, the fiancé, those ones, it has been confirmed that 7 million from the population of South Africa by HSRC report, and it was also admitted by the Minister of Women, Youth and People with Disability that indeed the results from that report are a true reflection of what we are faced with on daily basis in South Africa. Therefore, everyone, we should be here, and we are being viewed that we are contesting or we are marching against our own government. It is not true. We are not government. We are a political organization that represent and champion the needs and the plight of women of this country. And there's nothing wrong to go to government as a political organization, NGOs, the private sector, and also other women formation in our society that are having interested at of protecting a women's right. And because we are saying human rights, it's women's right, and it's in the Bill of Rights, Chapter 2 of the Constitution. And President is actually the relevant person to take charge of that process. Thank you.
All right, thank you so much. We've run out of time, but of course here at Burgers Park, we continue to monitor the activities and the build-up to the march that will head to the Union buildings. It's back to studio.
Patricia, Visagie there for us.